Shalom, Yasharallah. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to all you hopeful Lektakim that are out there laboring, that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp, coming at you with, the yearly Christmas rebuke. This is something that needs to be talked about every year, because there's new brothers coming in this thing all the time. There's people hearing about it for the first time. So, this is a good chance to, bring this information up again. It's going to be real quick to the point, but, the scriptures that I have prepared, some of them are on this picture, but, the picture says pagan roots of Christmas, because it all goes back to, Babylonian worship of Tammuz, Nimrod, and Semiramis, which were the first king of Babylon. And he set up the first king worship, emperor worship. Semiramis being, representative of the moon, him of the sun, and they did a birthday because Tammuz's birthday, their son, was supposedly on December 25th. And, they made it into a whole pagan holiday, and they brought in the evergreen, which is a symbolic thing of a phalanx, which is pretty much a dick. And then also, they also use it as a symbol of being an evergreen, which is what the tree is. It's a pine tree, so it's an evergreen, so it's green even in the winter. So there's a lot to it, but one of these scriptures that I have were actually on this picture, so I'm going to read it. This is Deuteronomy 7:26. You must not bring a detestable thing into your house, or you will be set apart for destruction like it. You are to utterly detest and abhor it, because it is set apart for destruction. And that is going into, these philosophies, these idols that these people bring in and worship, aka in this instance, the Christmas tree, because you allow with that Christmas tree other demonic spirits, and things to enter in your house because you allowed it to dwell in there. So those spirits are going to be right around the corner. And this is a picture of Krampus, which is another term that they call, Santa Claus if you're not being bad. This is like one of those myths that they have around it. Christmas is pagan, not biblical. And then a lot of the sayings that people use for Santa Claus is, oh, that's old Saint Nick, and they don't even know the real term behind it. And I've known this for years, but going back to it is, what does Old Saint Nick mean? Old Saint Nick definition and meaning. It goes into used as a name of the devil. So pretty much it's another term for, what they call the spiritual demon Satan. Old Saint Nick, chief spirit of evil and adversary of God, which we know Lucifer, aka, not Lucifer, but the spiritual devil demon Satan. He actually works with the Most High YAHAWAH, not against him. Tempter of mankind, master of hell. So this is going into, that term. Look at the Webster's Dictionary. The supreme personification of evil, often represented as the ruler of hell. So, point made, these people are literally worshiping the devil, and they don't even know it. And they think it's a whole thing that you can bring your kids and have them sit on a stranger's lap and, tell them all these lies, man. Well, why do they tell them these traditions? There's a meaning behind everything. And you have to realize that it's, the truth is stranger than fiction, because this opens doors to evil. And this is a couple scriptures that I had prepared. This is Mark 7:6. He answered and said unto them, well hath Esaias prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people, the Israelites, honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Because they always say, oh, it's a Christ's birthday. But they don't understand that they're worshiping the thing exactly opposite of that. And they ain't even using the right word by saying Christ anyways. Verse 7, howbeit in vain do they worship me, because they're saying they're worshiping the Son, right? Teaching for doctrines the commandments of men, because this is something that even the churches push, that's a part of the Bible. When we understand that it's nothing but a pagan tradition. Verse 8, for laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups and many other such like things ye do. Going into, the different, traditions that Christmas brings with it, like the jingle bells, putting lights up on your house, that's just going into like one of the washing of the pots and cups is like something you do for that tradition specifically. That makes it painting, putting holly, because holly, deck the halls with jaws of holly, that goes into Hollywood, which goes into what the wizards and warlocks used to make their wands out of, and they use satanic things with that holly plant, and then look at the name Hollywood, so all this comes full circle. Verse 9, and he said unto them, full well you reject the commandment of Yahawah, that ye may keep your own tradition, because their prophets are on the street telling you what it is, man. The information's out. People know these things. It's not like there's no internet and we don't have access to this. This is Colossians 2:8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach. Because this is the rudiments of the world. This is taking on a worldly sense. Because people take this time of the year to boast how good they are because they've been wicked all the rest of the year. But they're going to take this time to say, oh, this is the season of giving. Look at me what I gave. I gave 30 turkeys to this, ghetto suburb or whatever, man. So let's focus on the Christmas tree now. Like I said, I wanted to make this quick. But, there's some information that has to go out. This is Jeremiah 10:1. Hear ye the word which the Lord Yahawah speaketh unto you, O house of Israel, because this is for you, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Fuck what the rest of the world does. They're going to keep doing what they do, but we Israelites are set apart people, so we can't move like the rest of the world. We have our own high feasts and holy days. We have our solemn assemblies. We have our gatherings. We have our songs. We have our culture, but our people don't want to accept it because this world is more appealing and it's more popular and it's more pushed in front of their face on the TV, radio, whatever they're being absorbed in their life. So it's hard for them to step away from it. This is verse 2. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Because they're dismayed, they're taken by awe. They want to be a part of it, and even the signs of heaven, they don't know what's going on in the celestial heavens, going into the things above them. The chariots, whatever, they're at all. They don't know. They're freaked out. But we, the Israelites, we understand full well. The elect. Verse 3, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth out, Salakia, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen, with the axe, going into bringing in that Christmas tree. Taking the labor, washing of the cups. That's one of the things that they do. They go and get a Christmas tree. Verse 4, they deck it with silver and with gold, the lights, the little bell ornaments. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not, going into the stand. It has like 4 little nails that you screw in, and it has like a little base that the nails are attached to, so you just got to tighten it so it doesn't fall over. That's part of that custom. Verse 5, they are upright as the palm tree, because they make it seem like it's straight up, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go, but be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. And that's the point there. But yeah, man, this is a dumb idol. This is something that is not going to profit you. In them to do no good, because there's nothing that can come out of this that's going to benefit you. I know that there's one, I will not smell in your solemn secret. Salaki, let me look this up. Bear with me, Israel. No, it's in Amos. Here we go. This is Amos 5:21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Going into, this is not something that pleases YAHAWASHI, nor is something that he really is in wanting to help us out with as a people, because, hey, man, they don't care about us. All they care about is getting the money that you want to spend for this. Because the Most High doesn't care that you take all this time to give gifts out to your loved ones, and oh look, I gave more gifts than I received this year. The Lord doesn't care. This is verse Amos again, 5:21. I despise, I hate. The Lord hates certain things. And he makes it very clear in the scriptures what he does like and what he does not like. And this people, regardless of how plain English and black and white on paper, like people say, they still don't get it. It goes right over their head. But hey, it's all through the Spirit, because those who are going to get it or get it, and those who don't. The deceived and the deceiver are his. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. So, hey, man, this is not something that's pleasing to the Lord. Hopefully that, you can go into some information about this and look up some research for yourself, because like I always say, hey, man, don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. This information is out there in the open, but to the people, that are going to keep and partaking in this, pagan holiday. I understand that there's a brother that's maybe locked down with his family. He can't go anywhere else, and they're taking in it. Hey, man, go get a plate and just keep your peace, man. Keep the peace, whatever. Get a plate, leave, whatever, for the younger brothers. But if you got like an opportunity to maybe go away or plan in the future to go do something else, go do something, man. If you don't want to be around it, there's plenty of places that I'm sure you could go find to do something, even though a lot of things will be closed. But hey, either way, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the